What's up, guys? Another NFL season has come and gone. In 2018, we saw a lot of players and teams put forth some very impressive performances. Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Aaron Donald are just a few names that come to mind. But for every player or team that impressed us, there was one that was a complete disaster. I'm Jason Biondo, and today we present the 10 biggest disappointments from the 2018 NFL season. Make sure to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video, so you should definitely subscribe. Go do it. Number 10, Matthew Stafford. Alright, this isn't to say we expected the Detroit Lions to make the postseason. 2018 was a retooling year with a new head coach in Matt Patricia and completely different systems coming in on both sides of the ball. But the Lions, as usual, relied on quarterback Matthew Stafford to carry the team in 2018. This guy has led them to consecutive winning seasons, so expectations were high for him to produce once again. Instead, Stafford had his worst showing in a season in which he played all 16 games. The annual 4,000-yard passer wound up with just 3,777 yards. Stafford's 21 touchdown passes were his fewest since 2012. He was picked off 11 times and had 5 fumbles. The Lions finished 6-10 as a result, dead last in the NFC North. The running game finally produced in 2018, the receivers remained productive, and the defense was an above-average unit once again. But boy, Lions management must be regretting that $135 million contract they gave to Stafford in 2017. If he doesn't rebound in 2019, it's not crazy to believe they might move on from him. This is a team that can't wait around much longer. Number 9, Jon Gruden's return to the sidelines. How is this not number 1? The Oakland Raiders handed Monday Night Football commentator Jon Gruden a 10-year, $100 million contract to return to coaching for the first time in 10 years. But everything that could go wrong sort of went wrong for Silver and Black. Gruden made the awful decision to trade franchise star and pass rushing sensation Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears. He received 4 draft picks in return. Hard to believe they'll get Mack-like value out of them. Gruden also traded away young Pro Bowl wide receiver Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys. Again, hard to believe he'll get equal value with a first-round pick he got in return. The Raiders finished last in the AFC West with a 4-12 record. Derek Carr was okay, but no other Raider produced that much. The loyal and long-suffering Oakland fans simply deserve better than this. But Mark Davis and Gruden gave his fan base nothing to cheer about as they prepare for a move to Vegas. We feel for you, Raiders fans. Number 8, primetime games. Notice how we put air quotes in this? Well, most of the games that took up the Thursday, Monday, and Sunday night slots turned out to be giant wastes of time. Think about all the primetime games that straight up sucked. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady Part 2. It's pretty boring. The Colts-Titans winner-take-all game in Week 17 wasn't even a contest. All of those Atlanta Falcons and Dallas Cowboys primetime games were yawn fests. The Bears-Rams Week 14 Sunday night featured 2 NFC heavyweights. However, a 15-6 contest isn't exactly what we call entertaining. 9 Monday Night Football contests were decided by 2 touchdowns or more. It's pretty boring. And of the 15 Thursday Night Football games played, only 6 of them were decided by a touchdown or less. Sure, there were a couple of epic primetime games like the Chiefs vs. Rams barn burner on Monday night in Week 11, or the Chiefs-Chargers nail-biter on Thursday night in Week 15. But all in all, 2018's primetime slate was a pretty big disappointment. Number 7, Cam Newton. After taking the Carolina Panthers back to the playoffs in 2017, big things were expected for Cam Newton this season. The Panthers jumped out to a promising 6-2 start, asserting themselves as a top team in the NFC. Then the unraveling happened. The 2015 league MVP regressed significantly, and the Panthers wound up losing 7 straight games to fall completely out of the playoff picture. Newton's shoulder hampered him down the stretch, and Carolina shut him down for the final 2 games. Newton finished with just 3,595 passing yards and 24 touchdowns against 13 picks. Carolina finished with a putrid 7-9 record, and their hot first half went completely to waste. A regression from Newton in the second half is the main reason why the Panthers faltered down the stretch. Time for him to get back to playing at an elite level in 2019. Number 6, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. My knee! With a healthy Aaron Rodgers, the addition of Jimmy Graham, and some excellent drafting, the Packers were expected to rebound big time in 2018. Or not. The Packers looked like a true playoff contender after a 3-2-1 start, then some gaffes cost them dearly in losses to the Rams and Patriots. And Green Bay would never recover from there. In all, the Packers lost 7 out of their final 10 games. This included a home loss to the league's worst team, the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, and another season series sweep at the hands of the Detroit Lions. Green Bay finished a pathetic 6-9-1. Mike Mike McCarthy was fired with 4 games to go. Rodgers only threw 2 interceptions, but the 25 touchdown passes and 56.8 quarterback rating were well below his usual standards. Rodgers is running out of prime years, and the Packers are running out of chances to win more rings with him. Yikes! That's 2 straight wasted seasons for Green Bay. That ain't good. Number 5, Atlanta Falcons. With a top-flight offensive unit and one of the game's elite defenses, the Atlanta Falcons were a trendy pick to win the NFC. Many thought the Falcons were capable to become the first team to host and play in the Super Bowl in the same season. Obviously, injuries to the likes of Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, and Devonta Freeman didn't help. But the Falcons, despite another excellent year from Matt Ryan, were never really in the playoff race. After a 1-4 start, Atlanta railed off 3 straight victories to move back to 500. Then they lost 5 in a row. Then they closed out the season with 3 straight wins. But it was a little too late. Atlanta finished 7-9 and missed the playoffs in a season in which they had Super Bowl aspirations. The Falcons fired their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coaches. They'll be forced to watch Super Bowl 53 from home instead of playing in it. What a disappointment. Number 4, marquee free agent signings. As usual, most teams didn't get their money's worth after throwing around millions of dollars in free agency. The marquee quarterback signings were Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford, and Case Keenum. All 3 of them failed to deliver and will be watching the playoffs at home. The Chicago Bears probably regret giving Allen Robinson a 3-year deal worth $42 million. The offense was more than fine without him doing a whole lot. Same case with the Kansas City Chiefs, who didn't get much out of $48 million man Sammy Watkins. The Tennessee Titans got very little out of Malcolm Butler in the first year of his $61 million deal. And boy, does that $30 million Green Bay gave Jimmy Graham ever look like a waste. And the New York Giants didn't have to give Nate Solder $62 million, but they did. And he didn't do anything to fix that horrible offensive line. Boy, oh boy, what a bad year it was for expensive free agents. At least they're rich. Number 3, Jacksonville Jaguars. Led by a ferocious defense and running back Leonard Fournette, the Jaguars reached the 2017 AFC Championship game. With a couple of off-season reinforcements, many picked the Jaguars to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl in 2018. All looked good early on. The Jaguars started 3-1, highlighted by a big-time home win over the New England Patriots. Then Blake Bortles faltered, and you know the rest. Bortles was benched a couple of times in favor of Cody Kessler. Jacksonville would lose 7 straight games mid-season. They wound up finishing a pathetic 5-11. Just when all looked great up in Duval, it wound up being the same old Jaguars. Their defense was dominant once again, but Bortles in the offense sputtered. Time to find a new quarterback and reload for 2019. Number 2, Pittsburgh Steelers. Death, taxes, and Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. We all expected the Steelers to not only make the postseason, but to make a serious run at the Super Bowl as well. After a sluggish 1-2-1 start, Pittsburgh pulled off 5 straight W's to sit at 7-2-1. They were in contention for the top record in the AFC, and all looked promising in the Steel City. Then the Steelers collapsed miserably with embarrassing meltdown losses against the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders. Mind-numbing mistakes suddenly dropped them to 7-5-1. After a monumental home win versus the New England Patriots in Week 15, the Steelers made a plethora of mistakes and lost to the New Orleans Saints in Week 16. Pittsburgh won in Week 17 to finish 9-6-1, but the rival Baltimore Ravens won the AFC North with a 10-6 record. And with that, Pittsburgh missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. Ben Roethlisberger led the league in passing yards. The defense was a top 10 unit, but too many uncharacteristic mistakes in close games kept Pittsburgh out of the playoffs. In the end, you can call this one of the most disappointing seasons in the franchise's history. Number 1, Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. What happened? Seriously, how? I feel so bad for Vikings fans, dude. In case you forgot, Case Keenum led the Minnesota Vikings to 13 wins and a trip to the NFC Championship game last season. Yeah, with a championship-like caliber defense and star-studded offense, the Vikings believed a QB upgrade was all they needed to take the next step. They handed Kirk Cousins a 3-year, $84 million contract. Every penny of it was guaranteed. It was Super Bowl or bust in Minnesota. Well, Cousins turned out to be a massive flop, and the Vikings finished 8-7-1 to miss the postseason. Cousins' stat line was actually solid: 4,298 passing yards and 30 touchdowns versus 10 interceptions. But he couldn't lead Minnesota to any wins against elite competition. His career record against winning teams is now 4-25. Wow, that's really bad. How many went from 13 wins and NFC runner-up to missing the playoffs entirely is beyond anybody's guess. We shouldn't really be surprised though. The Vikings team has a knack for always letting their fans down, and 2018 might be their greatest letdown yet. Sorry, Vikings fans. I mean, hey, Cousins said it's only year 1. Maybe they'll bounce back next year. But as far as 2018 goes, goes, the Vikings are the biggest disappointment in our opinion. I mean, like, what the hell happened? If they did this bad this year, who knows what's gonna happen next year? Who do you think was the NFL's biggest disappointment in 2018? Join us in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and Total Pro Sports on social media. We post great content all the time. Boom. Boom. Social media. Follow it. Go to our profiles. Go check it out. At least go check out our profiles. You know what I mean? Like, go check it out. Like, just look. Be like, oh, hey, that's cool Instagram. Oh, I like that tweet. And then follow us. And if you don't like us, then don't follow us. But either way, we appreciate you because you're great. Boom. Effects. Love it. If you like this video, make sure you like it. Takes one click. Right down below. We really appreciate it. That'd be awesome. Please? If this is your first time around TPS, make sure to subscribe because we post videos every single day. That's right, every single day, a new video. So go subscribe. Of course, thanks so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo, and I'll see you next time.
My knee.